What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Harrison, and today we're talking about the second episode of The Last of Us TV series. I'm a little bit late. I planned on recording it last night as soon as I saw it, but I was pretty tired, so I decided to go to bed, which I feel like that's always the better decision to do instead of staying up later. Turns out I still stayed up later anyways, but that's besides the point. So I ended up rewatching the episode again, so I've seen it twice now, and I also listened to the companion podcast on Apple Podcast, the HBO with Troy Baker, Neil Druckmann, um, where they kind of talk about the show and stuff like that. So, man, this show is beyond like any what's the phrase? It's way beyond my expectations than I thought. I knew it was going to be good, right? I knew it was going to be solid just because Neil was directly involved with it, and a lot of video game adaptations do not get the original writer, director of the game, so I knew it was going to be pretty solid. And what they've done so far with the show, if they have every single episode start off with pre outbreak, just showing the kind of the rise and how everything happened, when when it first started and we were placed in Jakarta, which is where the infection kind of mainly started from like the flower company. Um, and they bring on that scientist, and she says it's impossible for the cordyceps to go into humans, and they say no, it's from a human, and she goes in and examines the corpse or whatever, and that next scene where that police officer or military guy sitting there talking to her, and as she's talking, the camera slowly like zooms in or gets close, pans in, zooms in, gets closer to her as she's talking, and at the end, she already knows that because multiple people have been affected, there was like 14 people unaccounted for. She knew that it was already over. That's Man, they've done such a good job of just creating that sense of dread. I know I said it in the previous review, but creating that sense of dread has been amazing. And her response is to bomb the city. Bomb the city, bomb everyone in it, because if they don't, it's going to spread. And the last thing she wants to do is just to go home and be with her family, not to try to escape or anything like that, because she already knows it's too late. So incredible storytelling within the first few minutes of these episodes. I've absolutely loved it. And then, of course, the episode is titled "Infected," so I knew we're obviously going to get a glimpse at the infected and how they work. And whenever we get that first look at all, like, there's hundreds of infected that are more or less like sleeping on the ground, and we learned that it's actually like a hive mind, which is not in the game. So the little tweaks they're making to this makes it feel a little bit more realistic than the game was, and the game already felt pretty realistic from like a typical zombie standpoint. Like the cordyceps is a real thing brought into the human body. So creating that hive mind, and if you step on these roots that are buried hundreds of feet under below the surface, or however long they bury down to, um, is really cool. I think that's a really really cool idea. It makes a lot of sense. So you kill one infected, and all of a sudden you've got a bunch more coming, and that kind of makes sense in the game because that happened a lot where you those hordes would come out of nowhere, and granted it was a lot to do with like sound and stuff like that, but yeah. And then we get the first look at the clickers, and my gosh, the practical effects and the costume and makeup design for these guys is incredible. They look way better than I thought they would ever look, based off of the game. They looked so real. That whole scene, it actually kind of felt like a video game in a way, because they're sitting there sneaking, and then they make a noise, and then they come after it. And the actors, I don't know their names, but the actors that play those specific clickers were so amazing. Like, all the body movement was perfect. The sound design in that area was truly truly awesome. And yeah, they got their asses kicked by these clickers, and rightfully so. They're supposed to be like some of the tougher enemies in the game because they're so resilient. They've got that mushroom armor, for lack of a better word, protecting them. And yeah, it shows that these characters aren't like these tanks and can take everything and can just shoot and kill these things instantly. They like it's fearful, and you could see that in Tess and Joel and of course Ellie's eyes whenever they're dealing with that situation. And then and obviously full spoilers for the episode, but once we get out there and Tess is like getting mad to Joel about he needs to have hope that this is very real. We don't know at the time. Obviously, the gamers do that played the game, but at the time we didn't know that she had been bit. So she's mad because she got bit, and she can't experience that world going forward. But she's also happy and hopeful that there can be a better world going forward if they can get Ellie to the right people. So, little bit of like some cool like once and you look and you go back and watch it, it adds to her character a little bit. But yeah, and then once they get into the town hall, I'm not quite sure what it is, but once they figure out that the Fireflies were killed, and you find out that Tess has been infected, and then instead of like, and it makes all the little subtle changes they're making into this TV show just makes more sense, because why would Fedra be out there in the first place? Like, they don't know what Ellie is. They don't know that she's immune. They're just thinking a couple of people, escaped or left or whatever the compound, the QZ, and have gone their way. Why would they send people in the risk of getting infected and killed, just so they can bring people back or go kill them? It just didn't make a lot of sense, looking back at it now. So having the infected, the main enemy in this episode, just made way more sense to me. So I thought that was a really, really nice change into the storytelling. And then once they kill that infected and all the infected come running around that they showed earlier, again, was cool to kind of reintroduce that, hey, this is a hive mind and you've got to be careful. So, and then of course the biggest like kind of talk that I've seen to come from the show is the weird kiss scene where Tess is trying to ignite the lighter or whatever, and that random infected sees her, walks over, and essentially gives her a kiss. Like it was very, very unsettling to see that, seeing the tendrils go into the mouth. And my theory is maybe they're introducing, I don't know if they're maybe introducing her cordyceps into the hive mind and making them a part of that. I'm not quite sure. If you listen to the companion episode, Craig Mazin, the co-writer, director, producer of the show, says that these fungus they also love as well, and they love to spread, and they love to infect and spread their will across the human race. So that's where his point of view came from. That may be like a little bit too on the nose with the kissing scene. I think it's more of a, and granted, this is coming directly from the director, so take it as you will, but I think it's more of a way to introduce that specific fungus into like that hive mind that was in that area. That's just my thoughts. But again, I thought the episode was incredible. This is already the best video game adaptation ever made, and I think it's going to end very strongly too. And going into season 2, you're assuming they're going to have one pick up at The Last of Us Part 2. It's just going to be such a traumatic experience. So yeah, it's a great series. If you're ever watching this video and you haven't watched it yet, go watch it. It's incredible. Subscribe to HBO Max for the next couple of months. Watch it. It's absolutely worth it. It's doing the game justice, and it's making smart changes that I think just make more sense. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below, how you thought the episode was, the previous episode, the series as a total right now. Love to hear what you guys think. Subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank y'all so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Consider subscribing to the channel. I'll let YouTube algorithm pick one of my videos below for you guys to watch. Give it a click, and I hope you enjoy, and I will see you in the next video.